Man, I grew up, Lent wasn't fun. It was suffering, you know. And it's so good to be in unity where we know Lent isn't about suffering for the sake of suffering. It's about shedding and letting go and giving up anything that is less than God's presence, than divine love. What a great thing Lent is. As a matter of fact, Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, wrote a wonderful book, Keep a True Lent. I don't know how many of you have read this, but it's worth reading during Lent. We have two of them, one up here and one back there in the lending library. Anybody's welcome to take either one. We also have a magazine that you can get by calling Unity, the headquarters, and getting your free copy of Keep a True Lent, which is a daily reading guide very similar to the Daily Word. So anybody that wants these are right here for you. We give up anything that keeps us from our true self. You know, there's an old Swedish fairy tale. You don't hear many Swedish fairy tales. And I wish I had that Swedish accent, but I don't, especially today. But there was a princess. Of course there's a princess. It's a fairy tale. And the princess had to live under the karma of her parents, who had done something, the story doesn't say what, but they had this karma, and the curse was from this karma that the princess had to marry a dragon. Everybody boo hiss, everybody boo hiss, all right. But the princess wasn't alone. She had a lot of people to ask for help. She went to a wise old crone. Don't you love being old enough to be a wise old crone? That's the blessing of our age here in Green Valley. The wise old crone knew what to do. And she said, no problem, I got this. She said, on your wedding day, wear a wedding gown with 10 layers. 10 layers of wedding gowns. And you tell this dragon on the wedding night that as you take off each layer of your wedding gown, the dragon is to shed a layer of his scales. And so the bride did that, the princess did that. She got together on their wedding night with the dragon, made the deal with him, and sure enough, as she took off each layer of her wedding gown, he had to shed a layer of his scales. And it was painful, painful. And about halfway through, he started crying out. It was so painful to shed all those scales. But by the time they got to the 10th layer, and all those scales had been shed, guess what? He was a handsome prince, of course. And they lived happily ever after. Is that a good story? Yes, that's the plot. So the reason I picked that for Lent is because that's what we do during Lent. We all have to give up those old states of mind, and it's painful, isn't it? Their habits and addictions and all those limiting thoughts and beliefs, those memories, those experiences that have made us who we are. We have to shed them so that we can uncover our true nature, our divine nature. So today, all of us, myself included, we have to ask this Lent, what state of mind do we need to shed? Is it a state of mind of fear, negativity, a consciousness of lack or limitation, a victim consciousness? Anybody here stuck, not able to change or grow? You know, there's so many things that need shedding. We could grow all day, but as long as each one of us does our part in shedding the past. And of course, this is the best part. Life, you know what's the meaning of life? Life gives us opportunities. Don't you love that word? Opportunities to shed. Opportunities to decide who we're going to be in every moment. And we have a choice in each life experience. I love even the Daily Word talked about life experiences today. Excuse me, I have a frog. I need to kiss the frog to turn it into a prince, I guess. But every experience we have a choice. We can either resist it, which we all do at times, or we can embrace the experience and use it as an opportunity to shed those scales and to decide who we want to be in that experience and to really embrace it. Now, I don't know about you, especially me, I'm out in the world so much that I have a tendency to want to run home and hide in my cave. Anybody here like to do that? I just love to go right to my cave. And some of that is good. It gives you balance and a place to recharge. And I like to lose myself in a good book. I mean, the happiest I am is when I'm reading a good whodunit. I don't even care who did it. I'm just happy reading it. And again, it's not a bad thing, but if it's done in extremes, I always think I could spend my whole life reading and never engage in the life that is before me. You know, so that's where it comes into play. And of course, of love that we do here every Monday. You read the other day, be like little children and inhale the world around you. Inhale it. Well, some days I let them spit it out, but inhale it in order to learn who you are from each experience or what your contribution will eventually be. Inhale each life experience, fully engage in it. Well, the word engage, which I've been thinking about all week planning this, has brought to me a show and tell. I got a Christmas present this year for Marie. It's a Hallmark ornament, and it has my favorite Captain Picard on it. And the best part is you push this little button, and Captain Picard speaks to you. So listen, we'll see if we get this right. See if this works.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Engage. You see, he said his favorite expression was engage. And every time I hear him say engage, it excites me. It's like life is out there. Engage in it. Don't resist it. Don't hide from it. Engage. So would you repeat with me a 3-part affirmation? First I'll say the whole thing and then we'll say it. My spirit is willing to fully engage in each life experience. Together, my spirit is willing to fully engage in each life experience. One more time. My spirit is willing to fully engage with each life experience. Wow, sounds good when we say it together, doesn't it? It's an opportunity to shed those scales, to reveal love's presence, and to find out who we really are. I am who I am because of all the challenges I've had to walk through in my life. Made me who I am today. I don't like to admit that, but I am who I am only because of those challenges. Every life experience helps us find out who we are. And when we withdraw too much without fully engaging in them, and there's all kinds of reasons why we do that. I got an excuse for every time I go in my cave. You got an excuse for every time you do?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh, it's just too much effort. I don't have the energy today to do that. Or I see obstacles instead of opportunities. Or there's a fear of judgment. What if I'm not up to it? What if I do something stupid or make a mistake and someone will judge me, you know? All the reasons why we withdraw from life instead of fully engaging. Well, I had a good lesson on TV this week about that. Anybody here watch The Crown on Netflix? The Crown, wonderful series with the Queen of England. And it's been very enlightening. My favorite episode that we saw last week was the one where the Queen meets Jackie Kennedy for the first time. Did you see that one? And it's a really fun one because the Queen, before she meets her, is a little bit jealous. I mean, the whole world is going on and worshiping Jackie Kennedy in the ground she walks on. And nobody's doing that to the Queen. They just think, even her husband thinks Jackie Kennedy is it. So she's a little resistant in meeting her. But they meet, and they go off, spend some time together. And as they're talking, they realize that each one of them are very shy. That neither one of them wanted a life in the public eye. That they would both prefer to go into that cave. And the more they talk, they realize that each of them has a sister that would be much more willing to be in the public eye. Their sisters actually wanted that kind of life, and yet it was given to the two shy ones. And you have to laugh at life when it does that. Because they were the two that needed to shed the scales of the fears, to open themselves and to expand themselves and to strengthen what they were here to do. It seems like it always works that way. Well, later, after their meeting, the Queen heard something that Jackie had said about her Jackie had been at a party and she had a few too many cocktails. And I believe there was even something in one of those cocktails she was drinking. And she, of course, what do they say, your tongue gets loose when you're drinking? And Jackie said some pretty horrible things about the Queen that got back to her. She said the Queen and the royalty were stuck in their old ways of thinking and they weren't in touch with modern times. They weren't progressive. Those weren't her words, but my interpretation of her words. Now, Jackie later apologized to the Queen that she had been drinking, and she felt really ashamed that the Queen had heard what she said. Well, when the Queen heard these things, she was very hurt by it. But at the same time, she decided maybe she needed to hear some of this, and she embraced that criticism and used it. You see, in Britain at the time, they were having trouble with the leader of Ghana, who was so fed up with England that he was going to Russia for help, because England wasn't doing a thing and he was just about had it with him. So the Queen asked herself, what would Jackie do? Not what would Jesus do, but what would Jackie do? So the Queen took bold action. She was invited to this party, and usually at these parties she would sort of withdraw off by herself. But this time at the party, believe it or not, and this was back then when this was not the correct thing to do, she went out on the dance floor and danced with the leader of Ghana, a black man. At the time, this was shocking. Nowadays, it's no big thing. But for the Queen to do that, it was shocking and wonderful. She charmed him like Jackie Kennedy would. And after that, the relationship between Britain was healed. And it kept them from going to Russia for the help they needed. I love that story. I absolutely love it, how she embraced it, even though it hurt, and she used it. It shows us how any challenge, I don't care what challenge we're going through, whether it's a loss of a job, a divorce, a bankruptcy, betrayal, anything can make you stronger if you embrace the experience and use it and not resist it. Even criticism, and I know it hurts all of us when we're criticized, but if we can embrace it and use it, and that brings me to my favorite story, and I know some of you have heard this before, so I apologize for saying it again, but it's my favorite story of criticism because it involves a Unity True student, a monkey, and a coconut. The Unity True student was walking in the jungle one day, having a great time, looking how beautiful the jungle was. And there was this very mischievous monkey that grabbed a coconut from a tree and threw it on the head of the True student, knocked him right on the head. Well, the True student, instead of getting angry with the monkey, took the coconut, drank the milk, the coconut milk that was in the coconut, cracked the coconut open and ate the coconut meat, took the shell and made a bowl out of the shell. And then he looked back up at the monkey and said, "Thank you for your criticism of me." Oh, that we could do that. Oh, that we could do that when I wish I could be that way every time somebody criticized me. If my blood sugar is low, I'm likely to throw the coconut right back at you. Anybody relate to that? Or does anybody here like me get defensive? Oh, this is why I did it. This is my excuse. This is my explanation. Or counterattack, whatever it is. But if we can embrace it, and I know it's not easy, if we can take it and say, now how much of this is mine to admit, to apologize for, to change, and how much must be their stuff that I need to just let it go. It helps us to chip away and to release the scales that keep us from our true divine nature. And here at Green Valley is an age of blessing, like that wise old crone. It's such a blessing because I have so much less fear of life experience than I did when I was younger. I'm so much more strong and trusting in who I am. So much more than I used to be when I was younger. Okay, trivia question. How was Jesus like Captain Picard? Jesus said, "Don't hide your light under a bushel basket." And Captain Picard said, "Engage." They're talking about the same thing here. Engage, go out and let your light shine. Find out who you really are in this world. Choose who you can be. And and shed that old stuff. And that life experience keeps giving us those opportunities over and over again. One of my favorite quotes that I'm going to close with is from Paul Williams. He once said, "You have a power that has nothing to do with what you do, or what you say, or who you know, or what you know, or where you are, or what you look like, or your skills, or your talents, or what you have. It is the power of your presence. It is the heat and light from your burning log, and it touches everyone who comes in contact with you." Let's take that into prayer. Like Jesus and Captain Picard, we choose to engage in life and let our light shine the best we can in every moment. We ask for the Holy Spirit to move in and through us so that we are able to release and let go of all those blocks to love's presence. We choose to embrace each experience, and we use each opportunity to grow, to expand, and to be more of who we can be. And as we bless each other, we bless ourselves. We engage together collectively, your strength adding to mine, mine adding to yours. And we are lifted up into that higher life. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for we affirm these things in the nature of the Christ. And so it is, so it truly is. Amen.
Please join us in singing this little light.